All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and honestly most misunderstood things our bodies do, crying. And I want you to forget everything you think you know about it, being a sign of weakness. We're going to look at this as a seriously sophisticated piece of biological engineering. Yeah, you heard me, your body's hidden superpower.
So let's just get right to it with the big question, the one that's probably been bugging you for years. Is having a good cry just, a sign that you can't handle things? Well, the science tells a completely, and I mean completely, different story.
So for the next few minutes, let's try an experiment. Let's reframe this whole thing. We're not going to see crying as just some messy emotion. We're going to look at it for what it really is. A powerful, built-in mechanism for stress relief, for system maintenance, and, get this, for data analysis. Yep, data analysis.
Okay, so first up, we're diving into why it's so much more than just tears. We're going to see how modern neuroscience, and even some really cool cultural wisdom like the Dutch idea of uithuilen, sees crying not as a breakdown at all, but as a totally functional, even essential, process for our well-being.
This concept, uithuilen, is just fantastic. In Dutch culture, it isn't about losing control. It's viewed as a practical tool. It's this accepted practice of just taking the time you need to fully cry it out, release all that stress, and then move on. It actually frames emotional expression as a strength, not something you should be ashamed of.
Now let's get into the hard science. You know that feeling, right? That feeling of being lighter after a good cry. Well, I'm here to tell you it is not just in your head. It's pure, unadulterated chemistry happening inside your body. It's a total chemical reset. First, a super quick breakdown because this is important. Your body actually makes 3 different types of tears. You've got your basal tears, they're just there all the time, keeping your eyes lubricated. Then you've got reflex tears, the ones that wash stuff out, when you're chopping onions. But the ones we care about, the main event, are the third kind, emotional tears. And this is where it gets really, really cool. So check this out. Your reflex tears, they're basically 98% water. But emotional tears, whoa, totally different story. Their chemical makeup is completely different. They are literally loaded with stuff like ACTH, which is one of the body's main stress hormones, and other nasty toxins that build up when you're under pressure. So the big takeaway here is that crying isn't just you feeling better, you're performing a literal chemical dump.
The best way to think about it is like this. When your internal system is totally flooded with stress chemicals, crying acts like an emergency drain. It is physically purging those hormones so they don't sit there and poison your system. It's a totally necessary detoxification process to get you back to a state of chemical balance. But wait, there's more. It's not just about the chemistry. There's this whole other neurological layer. Crying literally flips a switch in your nervous system. It takes you from that high alert fight or flight mode and brings you down into a state of calm and recovery.
Let's just walk through this step by step. So, you're stressed out. Your sympathetic nervous system is firing on all cylinders. That's your fight, flight, or freeze response. Your whole body is tense. Crying is the trigger that activates its counterpart, the parasympathetic system. Think of this as your body's brake pedal. The moment it kicks in, your heart rate slows, your breathing deepens, and your body gets the signal that the danger has passed. That feeling of relief? That is the physical sensation of your body shifting from danger mode back to safety mode.
Okay. So we've established that crying is a healthy, totally necessary release. But, and this is a big but, here's where we need to pivot. While the mechanism itself is brilliant, relying on it too often for the very same reason, well, that points to a much bigger problem. And this distinction is absolutely critical.
I really want you to let this one sink in. Imagine a boiler with the pressure release valve. If you constantly need to use that valve, the problem isn't the valve itself, right? The problem is that the boiler is always overheating. The valve is just a symptom of a system that's under constant, unsustainable pressure.
So what does this mean for us in our lives? Well, chronic crying about the same issue is a huge red flag. It's a sign that there's a structural flaw somewhere. Maybe your personal boundaries are too weak and you're just letting too much toxic stuff in. Or maybe you're in a job or a relationship that fundamentally conflicts with your core identity. The crying isn't the problem. It's the signal that something much deeper needs to be fixed.
So, what do we do with all this information? How do we actually use this new understanding? This brings us to our final and most actionable section. We're going to look at how to turn this biological reset into a powerful tool for real, structural change in your life. It's a simple 3-step strategy. Step 1, cry. When you feel it coming, let it happen. Don't fight it. Just see it for what it is, necessary system maintenance. Step 2, reset. After it's over, just take a minute.
Sit in that calm reset state. And then, step 3, the most important one, analyze. Use that incredible mental clarity that comes after a cry to figure out what caused the pressure to build up in the first place.
So in that clear-headed post-cry moment, you can start asking yourself the real questions. Questions like, was I letting people cross my boundaries again? Was I just bottling up my feelings for way too long? Is this situation, this job, this relationship, is it really aligned with who I am? This is the tough part, I know, but it's the essential work. You're using the data from your tears to diagnose the root cause.
So here's the crucial point. The crying part, that's just the cleanup crew that comes in after a crisis. But the analysis you do in that peaceful moment that follows, that's the architectural renovation. That's how you actually rebuild your internal structures to be stronger so the same crisis doesn't keep happening over and over again.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Stop thinking of your tears as just sadness or weakness. Start seeing them for what they really are, valuable biological data. The next time you feel the need to cry, don't just wipe them away. Ask yourself, what is my body trying to tell me right now? Thanks for tuning in.